Exactly. The Holy Spirit's the only therapist. All right, there we go. Live on YouTube. Zulma Gonzalez, this mic is all yours.
All mine? A thankful Thursday, family. I'm switching from here to my computer. I've been moving around and listening the whole time, or since I've gotten here. I'm trying to get out of here. Lynn, you took the first part. I was going to give you the second part because, um, Lovable and I are going to Virginia today. um, we are going to go hang out with my niece and my nephew in love and my great nephew, and we're going to a concert that would cost $159 if there I am. Including let's put some more on this. Um, including wait, I need to come out of this one, right? Um, it switched. I switched. Okay. Um, including tolls and gas and all that, it's still going to cost me less to go to Virginia to see Pat Metheny than it will to if I were to stay here and see him in September at the Kimmel Center. The Kimmel Center wants $159. What? I mean, I like Pat Metheny. I drove to Virginia to do this a couple years ago. But anyway, a thankful Thursday to each and every only one of us. I have been moving about just, all morning because, I thought I kept thinking about yesterday what I was supposed to be doing. And instead of doing what I was thinking about doing, I just thought about doing what I was going to be doing. And now I'm, love my brain. Love it, love it, love it. Um, it's been an interesting week. So I'll, God is always working on my behalf. I know that. Let's talk about God's will for me is perfect happiness. I know that. Um, Perfect happiness and peace and wonderful stories to tell. And here's one. You remember the day before the snowstorm here, I had talked about how I'd gotten a flat tire and I had hit a pothole. And when I went to go get the tires, when I went to go get the tire, a new tire, and I asked for an alignment. They told me they couldn't align it because two of the tires were bald. One had a bubble in it, and then there was the one I was getting. Well, the one that had the bubble in it was the tire that I had gotten from them just a couple months prior, and it was under warranty. So um, that didn't cost. It was a total of $800 either way. But the point was that had that second tire not gone flat, had that not happened, the bubble would not have been discovered. Ah, those bubbles, those are the dangerous things in form. So that was number one. On Saturday, I went to the gas station and the only they didn't have any regular gas. My car takes regular gas. So I got the high octane. And less than 10 minutes later, the car was, jerking and what have you. And like, oh, okay, had to pull over and just give it gas for a little bit, give it gas until it started working, started functioning normally again. And I'm thinking, all right, so I put high octane gas in it. I'll take it to the, Pep Boys and they will drain the gas and whatever they do, they dilute it, whatever, whatever. That's my thought. But, who am I? What do I really know? As it turned out, the engine valve was cracked, and um, well, $1,184 total, air filter, the diagnostic, blah 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 blah. And grateful that I have it to pay. The point is that this trip to Virginia um, was going to take place, and had the car not sputtered as a result, what I thought was a result of high octane gasoline, I would not have known that my engine valve was cracked. And that sputtering and stalling that the car was doing could well have happened en route to Virginia. Uh, I it's interesting how in the first thought is, oh damn it, I gotta pay all this money every time I turn around. It's money, da, da, da. And then my second thought, and I love this. Well, the ego speaks first and loudest, right? And that's that. And my second thought is, wait, wait, wait. In everything, give thanks is how it's written. And like, wait, thank you. This is no different than the bubble. This was saving my life. And that bubble, that was the day before the snowstorm, by the way. So um it's, I'm so grateful. I am finding more and more and more reasons to be grateful, just as no matter what's going on. It's gratitude. Again, workbook lesson 101, God's will for me is perfect happiness. Um, this has come up in conversation that I've had a couple times, and it stayed with me. Thank you. Oh, well, let me say good morning and let me say hello to everybody. Grand Rising to Lynn and Sharon and Lori and Dove and Deb and Karen and Glorian and Regis and Mickey. Mm, thanks for being here, Mickey. What you said about not having, wanting to call in and saying I have nothing, and then everybody starts saying things like, there it is. I was thinking the exact same thing at just about 15 minutes to the hour. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call in. I don't really have, I thought, you know what? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Something's going to get canceled today, but it's not going to be this. Um, this is where I get to keep refilling. It sounds like I'm here for you, and you might think I'm here for you, and I appreciate if you think that, but I'm really here for me. Um, it's always all about me. It really is always all about me from from the from the moment that that hmm, inform from the moment I came on the planet. It was I came to school. I came for lessons. I came to grow. I came to live. I came to expand. I came to cry. I came to all that stuff. But ultimately, God's will for me is perfect happiness. And if God's will and my will are one, then it's up to me to remember that my will for me really is perfect happiness. So, Karen, yeah, because I'm telling you, if I would, I have a choice. Okay, so we talk about this decision to think in terms of what's not true, aka the ego, or or the decision to think for what is true, aka the Holy Spirit. Both are just decisions. They're just decisions. It's not something out there. It's really not. Clearly, if when I take the time to say Spirit, when I get there. That's because I don't even have time for three whole syllables, four syllables, Holy Spirit. I don't have all that. Spirit. The second I say that, the change of mind is already beginning. It's already beginning because I've decided to look away. As Ernest Holmes says, turn away from the condition. Turn away from the condition. I keep the second. It could be anything from can't find my keys. I love somebody said to me, well, all you got to do is pray to Saint Anthony. I smiled. I smiled. Um, I used to do that. It didn't help because I didn't believe it. You know, who the heck is Saint Anthony? Never came to my front door. Just a joke. But I get that Saint, what we call Saint Anthony, is no more a symbol than what we call any other name. They're just symbols. It's just a symbol to remind us any more than, oh, I don't know. I wear an ankh around my, not an ankh, a shen. What do you call them? You call them cartouches. It's called a shen in the Meta language, the Egyptian language. But it's 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 to remind. This is a reminder to me of my physical mortality. I mean, I got it in Egypt, granted. It's that thing I hold on to. But they're all just symbols. They're all just symbols. And the reason why we have these symbols, because we're here in form. We're here in form. So there's nothing but a bunch of symbols. Who lights a candle? Some people light a candle before they pray, or before they come here, or before they go to whatever. It's all a bunch of symbols. And all ultimately to remind us that God's will for us, that our own will for us really is Happiness. Who do you know that would say, I don't want to be happy? Who do you know that would say that? And if they are saying that, then they're making plans to, jump off the planet. I don't want to be happy. I don't, there's no, now there are those who think that I can't be happy. There's that thought. But the truth is that there's no way if I can, then you, and you can too. Anybody can. Everybody can. In the last couple of days, I had moments. What would have been my sister's birthday, who was my favorite sister, Isabel, on the 16th would have been her birthday. And I thought about it and I had, some, memories, and I smiled and laughed. The very next day was the anniversary of when my Reverend Sheila passed. Now, I don't celebrate um physical passing. I celebrate the birthdays. I'll celebrate Reverend Sheila's birthday in October. Um, but I had that moment. I found myself going back 9 years to February 28th, the last day that she was physically upright, actually. She and I were together. It was a class that I was taking. Let me see. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. I don't know. Um, the last photograph that was taken of her is the photograph that I took. Um, on February 28th of 2017. Um, when we were laughing because she had said to me that she was getting ready to go for some treatment, but although 17 days later, her body left the planet. And what a way shower. Oh my God, talking about doing it with elegance and grace and beauty, and giving us an opportunity to see, up to the 2 days before she passed, we had a chance to be with her. Um, but her telling me on the 17th of February, on the 28th of February, she got real solemn and she says, I'm going to be with you throughout all this, right? And I was just months away from earning my license, because I earned my license in July of 17. And she was my teacher, um, for advanced studies 1 and 2, up to the class 19 of 2. Anyway, she says, I'm going to be with you throughout all this, don't you? And I got real sad, and I remember saying, yeah, I know. And then I perked up. I said, you better. I said, all this work I've been doing, I said, you better. And we had the greatest laugh. And that's when that photograph was taken. And and so as I started thinking about that very thing, and even as I'm thinking about it now, I'm getting misty-eyed. But it was because it was such a fun moment, a joyful moment, and her physically, her insides were bleeding, and all that stuff. And then she went to the hospital, and then a week before she passed, a week before she passed, on Friday, the 17th of March, but Friday, the week before, which would have been the 10th. Um, and I wasn't planning on telling this story. It's just, here I am. Uh, we were at the hospital, the bunch of us. I'm telling you, everybody was there. And um, she's laying there, and I walk in, and she immediately says, "And how are you?" She says, "I'm doing well. So how are you?" And that's how she said it, and with a elegance, with a strength, a power that was just unbelievable. And she was 1 week prior, and this was the last day that she was taking. She had decided that she was going to take anything. This was the last day. No medication and all that kind of stuff. And and she says, "I hear that photo," because you see she's doing this to the photograph. "I hear there's a photograph that you took that's going around of me." And she started, and we laughed, and then finally the nurse came in. It was time for all of us to leave, and the nurse came in and said, "Oh, it's time to say goodnight." And one of the practitioners started to sing "Good Night, Sweetheart," and we all just joined in. "Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go." Now, Reverend Sheila is laying in the bed, and she's her little body. She's doing this, right? And here she comes. Boop, 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 boom. We fell out laughing. We fell out laughing. This is March the 10th of 2017, exactly 1 week prior to making her transition. When I tell you that she demonstrated that the body It's not what it's about, because even as I'm telling this story, you all are feeling Reverend Sheila right along with me. You're feeling her right along with me. You're enjoying her right along with me. There is no death. This is so, it means so much to me. That is so clear to me. I'm so grateful that that means so much to me. Yes, there's change. Yes, there's transition. I heard Gloria mention about a friend of hers in hospice. Yes, absolutely. We miss the body. Do I, well, but you can't hear it. I can hear Reverend Sheila's laughter. I can hear it. I can hear it. And it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't go anywhere. In chapter 5, do I have my book up here? I mean, no, I have the course up here with me. But in chapter 5, section 4, paragraph. See, I'm packing. See, I'm trying to get back out here. Chapter 5, section 4, paragraph 8. It starts with, how can you who are so holy suffer? How are you who are so holy? And holy, to be holy means to be whole, to be complete. I am a complete emanation of God. This right here. And so are you. Individually, we are uniquely expressing God as what we are. And to remember that this morning, I'm every Thursday morning we have a prayer circles, just a few of us, and we take turns weekly in alphabetical order, whatever. Anyway, um, and afterwards, my friend Barbara and I were talking about the fact that that God has no problems. We were reflecting on workbook lesson. Well, yeah, I said, that's how the workbook say. Listen, God has no problems. So why am I walking around thinking I have a problem? Why am I walking around thinking that I'm supposed to be miserable? Why am I? Oh, shit, that I'm supposed to suffer? Why am I walking around thinking that I'm only human? Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that to myself? I love how Regis says he believes in easy. Why are we making it so difficult? Why am I? Why do I make it so difficult? Why do I choose to forget? The sleep of forgetfulness is the unwillingness to remember, is what it says in chapter 6, the end of chapter 16, in that prayer. The unwillingness to remember. And I heard Glorian say that uh she talked about willingness. She talked about willingness. Um, um, what did she say? It was a P word. Hold on, because I don't want that to get away from me. I don't want that to get away from me. She said purification. Purification requires, it's only about the unwillingness. I can't purify myself. Purification, atonement from it, as it says in the course, is not my task. It's not something that I'm supposed to be trying to force and trying to do, and I'm trying to be perfect. Doggone it, I'm already perfect. As when I remember the truth of what I am, I recognize that I'm already perfect. And I'm not talking about the fact that I need these glasses to see, or that I have to put on deodorant after I shower, or that I even have to shower in the first place because I don't want to smell whatever. Talking about that. I'm not talking about the form. And we spend too much time. People spend too much. I don't want to say we, because I don't want to include you if it doesn't apply to you. But some people spend too much time, praying about, somebody's physical body and them physically getting better. Well, I haven't read anything in religious science. I haven't read anything in the course that says, pray for the body. No, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say don't take care of my body. Take care of my body. Absolutely. Do the best I can. I take vitamins and I drink water and I eat cake. These are things that are good for me. I was talking to one person the other day who was talking about how, they eat a chocolate bar, they eat it in pieces. They eat it in pieces at a time. They satisfy their craving and they put it away. And when they said that, I thought, that's going to be me one day. That's going to be me one day. I'm getting better. I do eat some and save some for later. I don't have to have it all at once. But these are things. But nowhere is this to say that I'm supposed to be miserable. That my life in the Bible is written that we come to have life and that more abundantly. This is about being in joy. It's about being in joy. God's will. Lesson 101. And John Mundy wrote a book called Lesson 101. I believe it's Lessons in Happiness or Perfect Happiness or something like that. But God's will for me is perfect happiness. And God is not something outside of me, as I'll mention quickly in the slides that I did put together over the last few days. God is not something outside of me. So for me to think that it is a problem. That's a problem. Um, because that whole thing, oh well, God loves me, God loves me, so I can love me too. As if God and I are separate. No, no, there is no separation. There is no separation. What's today? March 19th. March 19th, yeah. Um, there is no separation. There's only God. There's only God, and that's all there is, and it's all I am. Let's see if I can find some slides here. Um, I didn't do something right. I don't know what I did here. All right, let's go with this. Um, yeah, so the whole thing, this whole suffering thing. I'm walking around treating myself like I'm supposed to be in pain, talking about it all the time. I'm complaining. Well, I love this one for the just for today. Don't criticize, don't complain, and don't judge. And I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and I said to her, I was telling it to her, and I said, and when somebody first told me that, the whole day, I said, well, complaint number one, right from the door. Go ahead, Karen. Hi, my Karen.
My girl's on fire this morning. Oh my God, Zulma, you're great. I love you. I love what you're sharing. And, God's will for us is perfect happiness. And I just want to share what Ken Wapnick says about this because it's exactly what you're saying. God's will for you is perfect happiness does not mean happiness in the dream. God's will for you is perfect happiness is I am his son. So you just said that we are not separate from God. God's will is that you are his son. That is perfect happiness, remembering the truth of what we are. And we forget, I forget, I forget all the time. Every single moment of the day, I'm forgetting, but it's easy to change my mind and make that decision when I remember to do it. So thank you.
You. Thank you. Emmett Fox, you must stop thinking of the trouble, whatever it is. The rule is to think about God. If you are thinking about your difficulty, you are not thinking about God. To be continually glancing over your shoulder in order to see how matters are progressing is fatal because it is thinking of the trouble, and you must think of God and nothing else. Emmett Fox. Every response you make is determined by what you think you are. And if I think I am this body, if I think I am this body, I am going to be miserable. I am going to be in pain. I am going to suffer. And granted, thoughts, listen, it's what we do. It's in the natural, as they say in the Christian churches. In the natural, yeah, we see a body, we attach ourselves to this body. We attach ourselves to the body, and therein lies part of the problem. Connection is one thing, attachment is something else. Connection is one thing, attachment is something else. Because mm, when I attach myself to something, I feel like it's an idol. I've made it part of me. It's part of me. It's attached to me. It's part of me. And if I attempt to detach from it, then it's going to kill me. That's all form. That's all form. That's all form. Because in content, there is no attachment. It's all simply connection. It's all simply connection. And there is a difference. Every response we make is determined by what we think we are. What we want to be must determine every response we make. So I can't go around saying I want to be in peace while I'm talking about and fussing about and complaining about and criticizing and judging, thinking that I'm right, you're wrong. That is not. Yeah. me wanting to be in peace. What I want to be must determine every response I make. Now, I'm taught over and over that I am the peace of God. So I walk around. I was in in the DMV last week. Uh, and this woman, she was sitting next to me with her grandson, and there was a woman talking to the person who was not next, and the woman was asking a lot of questions, and the woman sitting next to me, and she starts huffing, and then she says, "Come on, lady, you gotta hurry up. Other people, you're holding up other people's turn." Now, she wasn't saying it loud enough for the woman to hear her. She was only saying it loud enough for me to hear her, thinking, hoping, expecting perhaps that I was going to join in with her, and I didn't. I think I talked about this last week, so I'm not going to talk about this to somebody. I don't know. Um, and by the time, as you know, and then I said to her, I said, I said, I have to admit that when I come here planning to be patient because I never expect this place to be empty. And her whole demeanor changed instantly. And then there was more conversation. But anyway, and with laughter. And then she was able to overhear what the woman was talking about. She's like, oh my God, she's going away and she really needs her questions answered. I mean, everything. When I talk about that she had a moment of atonement, she had an atonement moment. She everything just changed instantly. Instantly. And I'm here to be truly helpful, but it's not like I'm walking around thinking, okay, I gotta be truly helpful. I have to be truly helpful. I have to force. No, purification comes with willingness, as does atonement. It comes with willingness, just being willing and just being open because I can't receive the joy, the peace, the love, the God self that I am. I can't receive the goodness that comes with that if I'm closed off or I think that it should come from you. Well, I'll speak if you speak. Yeah, well, look at the way look at the way they're looking at me, and then meanwhile I'm doing the same. My willingness to be open, my willingness. Ernest Holmes says there's a difference between he says that we can't try to outline it. We can't outline. We can't decide. We can't determine how many apples we're going to get when we plant apple seeds. All we can do is plant the seed and know that's apples are going to grow. We don't know how many. We can plant 12 seeds, get one apple. We can plant 12 seeds and get 20 apples. We don't know. But to try to predict that predicting thing, that trying to detail and outline things, that's insanity as far as I'm concerned, because that's me trying to control what I have no control over. That's that you trying to usurp the power of the creator. That's not my job. It's not my job. It's not my job. So I'm gonna leave that alone. And there's Rick. Hi, Rick. Hi, Linda Joy. Um, good to see you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Okay, I'm gonna pull up some slides. I don't know which one yet, but I'm gonna pull up some slides. Share. The one I just read. Every response we make is determined by what we think we are. Okay. Let me go past that one. Let me hit slideshow so I can do this right. Slideshow. Current slide. Okay. If I didn't already read this last week, I'm going to read it again quickly. Let go of the past learning. Somebody said something, mentioned parents just before just before I came on about parents and how we want to blame them for what happened. But I read somewhere, I don't mean but. However, no, forget the however. Period. Blaming the past does nothing. I read that your first bully is usually a parent. I thought, yeah, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Not so much you don't know it. Our self-esteem, what we call self-esteem or our sense of self-worth, it start with self. It started with those who raised us, those who we were around, telling us telling us what we were and telling us what we weren't, and us not knowing the difference and us believing the misinformation we were receiving. That's the problem. Therefore, your past is what you have taught yourself. Let it all go. You have taught yourself that imprisonment is freedom. You had already taught yourself wrongly, having believed what was not true. You did not believe in your own perfection. And again, perfect means complete. I am a complete Zulma Gonzalez. This one, born 8/22/50. Well, I don't want to put all the information on. The I'm sure the powers that be can find it anyway, but but this one born at that day or that time in that place, none other exactly like me ever anywhere. That's what perfect means. That's what perfect. So in the Bible where it says be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect, when I first read that, and for years when I read that, I'm like, what do you mean I can't be perfect? I'm only human. No, I am perfect. I am created in the image and likeness of my creator, and I'm created to create, and I create my world. So all the stuff that's happening, quote, quote, to me, is a false belief. It's a false belief if I don't want to be happy, because I am not the victim of the world I see. I invented it. There's another way of looking at it. I can see peace instead of this. I have a choice to see peace. I have a choice to see love. I have a choice to see joy. And yesterday, I was as the day was going, for people were talking, and I found myself in the middle of their sentences, thinking of how they should have said it. And then I heard myself, I chuckled to myself, Zuma, you're judging. Zuma, you're judging. And I actually listened to how many times I said that while I was listening to the conversation. And then it stopped. It stopped. I realized, oh, shoot. Okay. And then when it was over, started smiling, because I actually was paying attention. See, we're asked to be mindful. We're asked to pay attention. We're asked to be in the habit engaging with God, engaging with God, engaging with God. Well, I can't engage with God while I'm judging what so and so is doing. I can't engage with God when I'm criticizing what's happening. I can't engage in God when I'm complaining about anything. Because if that's the case, then I'm not letting it be what it is. The workbook lesson says, "Let all things be exactly as they are." Well, I'm not doing that if I'm criticizing it. So, it says, "Let me not be your critic," and no statue has ever been erected to one, as far as I know. Um, except, did they put one up for Ebert? Was it Ebert or the other guy? One of them. You know who I'm talking about. There may have been a statue, but I don't know. But generally speaking, no statue has been erected for a critic. You have taught yourself that a prisoner's freedom. Okay, you didn't believe in your own perfection. In the blessed instant, you will let go all your past learning. In the blessed instant, in that moment, there'll be that moment where you're like, wait, wait. I'm holding on to something that's not there. It doesn't make sense today to wear what to cut to cut a pair of pantyhose. Remember when our grandmothers, well, used to tie the pantyhose around their uh knee. Now you can go buy knee highs. In the blessed, don't know where that came from, family. The blessed instant you will let go of all your past learning. I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to hold on to what no longer serves me. And the course teaches nothing survives its purpose. And see, when we try to, and I've said this, when things are supposed to be what's supposed to be gets better, and what's not gets worse. What's supposed to be gets better, and what's not gets worse. And when I'm trying to hold on, when I'm trying to force something, when I'm trying to do it out of willfulness rather than willingness, when I'm trying to willfully make something be what I want it to be, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Can you imagine if I decided to just keep driving that car, sputtering and can you imagine if I decided to keep driving on a flat? Things definitely get worse. It just keeps getting worse. Remember nothing that you taught yourself, for you were badly taught. And who would keep a senseless lesson in his mind when he can learn and preserve a better one? Question mark. Therefore, resign now as your own teacher. I'm watching you read, Rick. I'm actually watching you read. That's so cool. Your past learning must have taught you the wrong things simply because it has not made you happy. Lesson 101, God's will for me is perfect happiness. And where is God? God is right where I am. God is, let me come down off of this. I have to find the slide that I actually want. God's will for me is perfect happiness. And where is God? God is right where I am. God is what I am. It's not something separate and apart from me. It's not something separate and apart from me. Let me get rid of this for a moment. Let me bring this off screen and put this on screen. Not separate and apart. We people talk about, God, God, what God is doing for me, and God, this, that, and the other. God is in everything I see. And this is just the course today. From the Bible, I and the Father are one. That's how it reads. I and the Father are one is written that Jesus said, it's written that's what he said, that I and the Father are one. And he wasn't saying that he was the Father. He wasn't saying that. He was saying that the same stuff, that is the Father is what he is what he is what I am, is what you are, created in the image of God. Image. Look at the mirror. What's that? I don't mean we see a reflection. We see an image. Now that's how it is in form. But it's written that Jesus said that God is spirit. So I am created in the image of God. I am created spirit, the same as God. I'm created in the likeness. I am created like God. That's not hard for me to understand today. That's why God is in everything I see. That's why God is in my mind. That's why God goes with me wherever I go, because God is, I can't be up, I can't see apart from him, can't be apart from him. I can't be apart from God. I'm taking the word him out because just me. God is a title. God is just a title. Him is a pronoun for that title. And it's written, if you read the preface of the course, it tells you it's written in traditional, Christian terminology. But God is my source, and I can't see apart from God. Life is my source. I cannot see apart from life. Life is the mind with which I think. God is my life. God is life, and that's all. Listen, it's in the course. It's in the books way before the course. It'll be in books after the course. It's God is life. Science says that it's just life. We're just talking life here. Just talking life, not separate and apart. And things are going to be what they're going to be. Go down the street, and the ground, somebody cemented beautifully, and somewhere along the way too much water hit it, or the snow hit it, or something else hit it, and it cracked. And so it is, because nothing survives its purpose as we know it. But God is my life. I have no life but his. I don't even know where I brought the ground up. I was talking about the changes that our bodies go through. The form goes through changes. The form has to go through changes because form is temporary. Simple. Form is temporary. I do have another slide. I just have to find it. I didn't come with, just bear with me. Um, um, I didn't even know if I was going to stay an hour, but I didn't plan on staying an hour. I got to keep packing. I just broke down Lovable's cage. You should have seen him watching me do this. It's like, I like to hang out. This is the place where I hang out when you go away, when you go out. So why are you doing this? And he stayed right there, and he's looking, and walked in the area where the cage was. That was something to see. It's something to see how I learned so much from this little doggy. Certain things he's in the habit of engaging in certain ways and certain things, and it's just, if I mention certain words, and he automatically gets excited. I mean, starts going to, and I'm usually the ones that have to do with food. um but just certain things, or when, if I lay down, and he's looking at me, and he waits for me to pull the blanket up, and say go under so he can but he won't go under unless I say go under. That sorts of things. And oh, I might want him to lay here, but no, he wants to go lay behind my kneecaps. He goes and lays behind. It's just so, there's so much to be learned. There's so much to be learned. Who are these beautiful people, Regis? I don't know who they are. I don't know. Anyway, happy people. They're happy people. That's all I see is happy people. I don't know who they are, but they're happy people. Um, there's so much to be learned from nature. You have never heard one tree criticize another tree. You're too short. Get out of my way. You're taking up my space because that I've heard my nature friend, he says that sometimes the roots of this one will get in with the roots of that one and kind of like hog the roots, and but because nothing survives its purpose, if it's time for that one to go and this one to continue to grow, and so it is. But no, what are we doing? We're out here, get out of my way. I'm right, you're wrong. It's my turn. No, no, you're not my, it's me, not you. Oh my God. Let's see. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the chat. Mm. Um, Doubting, denying, and distrusting. Um, yeah, right. Get out of my sun, tree to tree. Yeah, like it doesn't happen that way. The sun, it's all out here for all of us. And we have to decide, are we going to open our hands to it? Or are we going to talk about, oh well, that's not for me. That's for them. That's not. No, God's will for me is perfect happiness. God's will for me is perfect happiness. God's will for you, God's will for us is perfect happiness. And if I start from that thought, I will do a whole lot less criticizing. I will do a whole lot less complaining. I will do a whole lot less judging. I will do less and less and less to the point where I will see I look at something and I see the beauty in it. I was just asking Regis, well, what is that? I don't know who they are. I see happy people, or what looks like, what reminds me of happy people. That perfect happiness, joy, peace, laughter, beauty. Why not? In the midst of a bubble in my tire that caught at $800 expense with all the tires, in the midst of an engine valve that's cracked, an $1,184 expense. Grateful for that $800. Grateful for that to have the $1,184. Grateful that it happened before the snowstorm or before my trip. Grateful because God's will for me is perfect happiness. And I have to keep looking that way. I believe that the reason why that was discovered before the trip is because God's will for me is perfect happiness. Now, that doesn't mean that I might not be driving down the road to Virginia and God knows what. I'm going to enjoy having Lovable with me, regardless of what happens. We're going, Lovable's going on a road trip. You didn't hear that, Rick. Okay. His second road trip. He's been to New York. Now he's going to Virginia. Um, and so much fun and the fun that goes with it. God's will for me is perfect happiness. I did say another slide. I want to stop talking. Um, share, Zulma. Share. So it's not the first passage, but the second one. Actually, God is not in you in a literal sense. You're part of God. God is not in me. In me are there's the heart, the liver, and all the muscles and the corpuscles and all that stuff. All that stuff is in me. When you cut my body open, that's what you're gonna find. You're not gonna find quote quote God. And then again, you are going to find God because it's all God. I am part of God. There's no part and part. I'd rather go with, I'm an emanation of it because part suggests separation from me, but that's what that means. I am one with it. It is one with me. And that's not arrogant to say that. It's not arrogant to say that. It's arrogant to not say that. It's arrogant to think that I can be separate from it, that I can be separate and apart. It's arrogant to think that I'm supposed to suffer The suffering is supposed to be my plight. No. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, because that is where the laws of God operate truly. And they can operate only truly because they are the laws of truth. But seek this only, because you can find nothing else. There is nothing else. And here it is. God is all. Now, all excludes nothing. It excludes nothing. See, God's will for me is perfect happiness. God meant when they told me that it was going to cost $1,184 to fix that thing, my first thought was, say what? And then my second thought was, oh, I got it. So God is the money on my credit card. God is my credit card. God is the broken valve. God is the people that are going to fix the car. God is the thought that gave me that was given me to go get it checked. God is the sputtering that my car was doing. God is the high octane gasoline. God is all in all, in a very literal sense. I love that your hand is up, Rick. Go ahead.
Good morning, friends. Good to be here. Zulma, I'm not sure if it's my computer or you just all of a sudden started talking in electronics. Your voice completely changed to computer voice. I don't know if it's, oh, now talk again?
Yes, I'm talking again.
Now it's completely fine. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
That
Don't be
was so
sorry.
bizarre. It was like an
Let's-
electronic thing happened.
I sound electronic. Did anybody else hear that? Did I go to an electronic voice anywhere to anybody else? And I'm back, Rick. You hear me? You hear me back? I'm back?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Okay.
No, no one
Listen,
can hear
my
you
whole
again.
Alexa thing did that. Everything, every one of my Alexa voices start because I have, I have one upstairs, downstairs, and it started all of a sudden it started sounding like this. It was doing that, and I had no
No,
idea. Hey, McKelly, I saw you. See you trying to hide, sneak. I see you.
thank you.
That smile
Thank
did
you
it
for
all for
your
me. That was it,
service.
McKelly. Thank you for that smile. Appreciate it. Um, but every single one of my voices did that. It sounded like the chipmunks to me, and I'm like, oh gosh. So now they all have male voices. Everyone, I changed them all to the same male voice. I'm not even gonna try. No, no, that's not doing that. Even Lovable, like, because he certain times it's certain he looked at this thing like, what's that? That's not supposed to be here. Oh my God. God's will for me is perfect happiness. Perfect happiness. Perfect happiness. I get to decide. I get to choose and choose and choose. And we keep reading that, about choosing again and all that. And it doesn't mean that, you know, as Gloria was saying earlier, about, trying that I'm trying to be perfect. No. The essence of what I am, my essence is perfect. That's the starting point. Seek first the kingdom. The starting point is God. The starting point is spirit. It's written that Jesus said that God is spirit. Back to that, I was talking about an image of, I was there somewhere. It's written that God is spirit. And that they that worship must worship in spirit and in truth. Now, the kingdom is within. The kingdom is me. Oh my gosh. I am the kingdom. I am the kingdom that I have to rule. I can't go around and blame so and so or such and such because I'm this tall, because I'm this weight, because I'm this color, because I'm this gender. What I don't know what the term is anymore. Because no. I can't blame anything or anybody for I can't because I'm my mother's only child, because my father had 17 children. I can't blame anything or anybody out there for anything. There is no out there. God's will for me, life's will for me is perfect happiness. And for me now, in this example, changing the word God to the word life, I've even taken it because that was what the God that we've been taught, I'm gonna call it Santa Claus God that we've been taught, is still something out there that's willing something for me. God is life. Life's will for me is perfect happiness. Now, it's up to me to decide, to choose, to be willing. If life's will for me is perfect happiness, then I get to be willing. I get to choose to be willing to be happy. It really comes down to that. Like, bring it on down a notch, Zulma, and exhale. Not just staying on that wheel. No, no. Exhale. Go ahead, my Karen.
Yeah, I love that you shared that you can't blame anyone. From what I've learned from Course in Miracles is the reason I can't blame everyone is because everything is a decision. I am the decision-making mind. I am the dreamer of the dream. I am responsible for which thought system I choose. I am. So I love that because I feel the same way and I'm so grateful because that is one of the greatest lessons I've learned from A Course in Miracles. Before A Course in Miracles, I blamed everything and everybody. So thank God for that miracle. Thank you.
Thank you. And as Doug reminds us from lesson 97, I am spirit. I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God. I am still. I think it was Mickey McKelly, one of them. One of those M people that did the I am still as God created me. And that's stillness. That's still. It's all that running around on that little wheel. That's the problem. Thinking that I can do this, I can do that, and I can show you. Quit all that. That's fine on stage. But in the real world, where truth resides, where truth abides, when it's just me and me, when there's no lights and no cameras and there's no action, then what? That's when God's will, my will, is perfect happiness. I like being in joy. I like the laughter. Um, I like the, what do they call it? The silver lining after the cloud. I appreciate the cloud because I know that after the cloud comes a silver lining. But you know what? After the silver lining is going to come another cloud. It's okay. It's okay. And oh, I don't have it in front of me. M26. It's I'm looking at the time. I don't want to overdo. Um, it reads, don't dismay. Let me find it. Don't dismay because of stuff that happens, basically. Don't dismay. Dismay. Um, oh, maybe it's plural. Dismayed. Dismayed. How do you spell dismayed? AYED? Is that right? Um, anyway, in M26 it says do not be dismayed by, see, I'm using a different I'm not using the what you call them. Basically, don't be dismayed by because stuff happens. Don't be dismayed by that stuff. Um, I'm gonna find this and then I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Do not despair. Okay, wrong word. Do not despair because of limitations. Because we're informed. We're informed. I'm gonna bring this up on the screen. It's down at the bottom here. It says, do not despair because of limitations. It's your function to escape from them, but not to be without them. Yeah, stuff is going to happen. If you would be heard by those who suffer, and see, that's not me. I'm not the suffering one. God's will for me is perfect happiness. It's my job. It's my job. It's my chosen job. I don't mean it's like I have to, but it's my chosen to share what has been shared with me. As it was shared with me, that God's will for me is perfect happiness. It was shared with me a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, and I heard it and I didn't do any more with it. And I heard it and I didn't do any more with it. And I heard it the last time I heard it, I said, you know what? This keeps coming up. I need to talk about it. I need to talk about it. I need to remind myself and whoever's listening that our will is perfect happiness. And all the suffering that's happening in the world is happening because we think that we have to suffer. It's written, let there be peace on earth, the song. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be joy on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be happiness on earth and let it begin with me, because that's where it is. Do not despair because of limitation. It's your function to escape from them, but not to be without them. Escape from them. Don't hold on to it. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. If you would be heard by those who suffer, you must speak their language. If you would be a savior, you must understand what needs to be escaped. Salvation is not theoretical. So when it was told to me, when it was said to me, God's will for me is perfect happiness, in that moment, I was getting a salvation message. I was getting a salvation message, and then I got it again, and then I got it again. I said, you know what? I need to talk about it. I can't hold it to myself anymore. Behold the problem, ask for the answer, and then accept it when it comes. Be willing to accept purification. Miracles are everyone's right, but purification is necessary first. Purification is necessary not by willfully trying to purify, but by being willing to just let it happen. Just be willing to let it happen. It's there for us because it already is what we are. There are no problems in God's world. And God's world is my world, and my world is God's world, and God's will is my will, and God's will for me is perfect happiness. And with that, I think I'm going to let the mic go. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let the mic go. Lynn, all yours.
Thank you so much, Zulma. Wow, yeah, great sharing and appreciate you so much. Have a great trip. I hope that you really enjoyed that concert. I would